Okay, we should be live now. Everybody should be able to see us and hear us. Get the camera just a little bit over this way. Oops, that out of the way. Okay, so we came dressed for the occasion. Hi, Laura. Hi, Donna. Hi, Marlene. Hi, Glenna. Don't wreck my Fascinator. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Barb.
Still a little heavy.
You're having a real hard time with that, aren't you?
Well, there's nothing to
Well,
hold on to.
we can just put a screw in your head.
Okay, fine. Stable.
We won't wear it for well. Let's see how it goes. So can everybody hear us and everybody see us? And welcome. Yes, we're going to explain our fascinators for you. And what these are for in just a minute. But hi, Patsy. And hi, Angel. And I guess everybody was not bummed out about the time change. Of course, it depends where you live, whether or not you had the time change, but we did. Hi, Penny. We went ahead an hour. Spring ahead, fall back. So we are wearing our little Easter bonnets, even though it's way too early for Easter, but not really. So we're going to talk a little bit later, but we are madly making we're designing the couture outfits for our kissing cousins, who will be making an appearance at the Ultimate Sewing retreat at the end of the month. And as you know, we are the program facilitators. So Matilda Mudslinger and Gladass Happy Bum, just about forgot our cousins' names there. They did ask us to design once again this year couture appropriate for the evening. So this will be their headwear. We are showing them we are sporting our fascinators for the girls, as you can see. We have a thimble with needles in it, and there's some butterflies and flowers. There is some fabric as well.
And model it.
Yeah. And there's fabric in here. There's fabric here folded up, and some, what do you call this, tulle. The pin cushion, some butterflies and things like that. So Walter's for Gladass Happy Bum is rankishly set to the side.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really sure if this is going to be how these will mount, because they are got to go on top of the girls' hair, and they have a lot more hair than we do. So we may be taking these little things off here and possibly clipping them in some way to their heads. And take those off right now. Out of the way. Here. I can say be gentle with them, but it doesn't matter because they're glued on there pretty good. So yeah, that's what we've been up to. Actually, those aren't the first set of fascinators. I made another set that I used more things on, and they were way too heavy. You couldn't wear them. Hi, Jeannie. So anyways, and we are working on the outfits for this, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, but let's jump right on to what Walter's working on. He's working on Matilda and Gladass's dresses.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really sewn it yet. We're sewing blocks together.
Well, I guess we might as well show them. We're taking our scrap fabrics, and we're making, let's put that in front of you. We're making these blocks from scrap fabrics, and we need, the dresses are circle dresses, sort of on a poodle dress style, and each dress takes 4 panels. This is a panel that'll be cut for the shape, of course. So there's 9 blocks, 12-inch blocks in each one of these. So we've been madly sewing these things up, certainly as a scrap buster, I can tell you that. And then Walter will cut them and get them sewn into dresses. And we have crinolines that will go underneath those dresses. And Walter's got a pattern for making a top, and we bought some fabric yesterday at Ultimate Sewing to make the tops as well.
So it'll be like just a pullover type top.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for one night, so
yeah,
it's not like we're going to be using the outfits like crazy. So
Yeah. Yes, Patsy, there's a lot of fabric in the dress, but we want them to be very full. And because we're putting them over top of fairly big crinolines.
and our size is not
Yeah,
exactly
we're not that petite. Hi, Fidel. Hi, Wendy. Didn't say hello to Wendy. So yeah, we're working on that. It's coming together along with everything else that goes with this. Hi, Eddie. Shante, you stay. Oh, or sashay away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting into the mood for that. We only got a couple of weeks too, so got to get on with it. So that's all Walter's been working on. Of course, he's sporting one of his lovely shirts,
Well, that's
which
my
you've
only
seen
one
before.
that I fit into right now. So
Oh,
I have the other one I made last year, but it's a little tight.
no, a little tight. Oh, is it a little tight? Oh, well, too bad. So what have I been working on? Well, I finally finished, Eddie, you'll want to see this. I finally finished the Strong and Free quilt. I'll just switch it here so you can see it. So there it is in all its glory. It's all bound, it's all quilted and everything like that now. And I'm glad it's done because this one was a mistake from the very beginning. Let me point out the mistakes for you here. First of all, you know about the problem I had with the pattern. The strips were told me to cut the strips a certain length, and then when it started to assemble it, they had different lengths of strips. So I kind of had to abandon the pattern at that point and just do my own thing, following the picture they had of the quilt. I did find out, though, I went searching to see if they had published, of course it was after the fact, it was after I got the whole quilt done, whether or not they had published a correction sheet. Oh yeah, it wasn't easy to find, but Miss Winnie, that's the name of the designer, it's called Miss Winnie Designs for Northcott. I finally found her website, and yes, she showed corrections in the pattern. Everything was corrected. She had her marked up page with all the errors circled and things scribbled in to make it like the stuff I had figured out after I got it all together and through it all. And she had mentioned that if you sent her an email, she would be happy to send you a PDF copy of the corrected pages.
You know,
So
I can't see how somebody could possibly put a design together and have that many mistakes. Like I could see maybe one or two, but like that many.
I don't know. I think she designed the quilt on the fly and then wrote the pattern afterwards.
And didn't have her measurements or
whatever.
did. She couldn't figure out how to use a ruler.
Yeah. So I wasn't too impressed.
Maybe
with
she had
her
the
design.
centimeter side up instead of the.
Maybe. I could put it this way. If I was ever to get another pattern I saw that I liked and it was by Miss Winnie Designs, I most certainly would be, checking it out very carefully. But let that be a lesson. And I've told people this before, and they always tell you this. Read your pattern all the way through before you do anything. I don't. I should. I don't. And this was a good lesson of that. But wait, there's more. So, see this part right in here? You can see my arrow. Right here underneath the panel. Miss Winnie told you to cut the panel a certain size, which I did. These pieces were 2 inches short. You can't really see it clearly, but if you look at it, you'll notice there's something that really, you might ask, why is that there like that? Because I had to add a piece onto each edge in order to make it wide enough for the panel. But then you're going to say, well, why not just cut the panel down so it would fit? Because you can't see it clearly here in the picture, but this is also strips sewn together. Ironically, they fit. They were the right size. These ones did not work out that way. Now, if an afterthought on this, if I thought about it, what I should have done was, before I sewed this part on up here, I should have cut 2 more strips of this fabric and ran them right up along the edge here. Mind you, it's the same fabric up here as it is there. So would it make any difference? Probably not. You wouldn't. I just realized that. You probably wouldn't see the difference. The other thing I could have done was I could have ripped this section out and made this strip and this strip a little bit longer or a little bit wider, and it would have fit in and maybe not. But I don't know. Either way you do it, it's still going to look like, does this really belong? So the trick here is I just don't let anybody stare at it for too long. And then when I did get it all together, I put these ones in the wrong order. You notice they go up and then they go down. Well, mine went up and then they went up. I should have mirrored it. So I ripped those all out and fixed that. Then I quilted it. The quilting of it worked out okay. I don't know if you can see it very well here. Oh, the picture's upside down, but it doesn't matter. If you can see the quilting in here, it's maple leaves and swirls. It's hard to tell, but that was a pantograph, and that worked out okay. It looks better in real life with that. But then I put the binding on. Well, then I discovered that I hadn't really squared this. This quilt was very difficult to square up. And I did everything that you shouldn't do when you're squaring up a quilt. And I did it anyways. So it's a little wonky. Not majorly noticeable, but I know it is. And then when I put the binding on, I screwed up the binding in one little spot too. And I'm not going to point that out because you can't really see it, but it's in the picture. But again, not something that's really noticeable to the average person. But to my eye, yeah, I know it's there. So, you know, the expression, better done than perfect. That's what happens with this one. And I'm never going to do a Miss Winnie design again. Or at least I'll check it out very carefully before I go ahead with it. That's just mental. You know, lately I've been having a run on these kind of things with the problems with them. So, I don't know. It's just crazy. So what are people saying here? Oh, thanks, Kathy. But of course, now I pointed out all my mistakes. Hi, Andy. Hi, Cara. And hi, Em. Yes, it probably is really early for you, and probably more so since we gone ahead in an hour here in our time zone. So, been working on that. And I've started the block of the month class that I'm taking, and which is all online, but it's with Donna, the hostess with the mostest from the Ultimate Sewing shop. And the first block, well, I don't like cutting templates, especially when the templates are ones you have to make yourself. And talking about errors, so I'll show you the block. Just let me find it here. There it is. So this is the first block in the block of the month. And yes, I'm doing my signature wild color scheme for it. It's going to be a really nice quilt when it gets done. But there were some problems with this pattern. Now, we had our first class online on Wednesday. And Donna went through the first month's instructions with us. And she had some tips for handling it and whatnot, which were really great. Donna's a really good teacher. And, you know, this was the first time she's ever done anything on Zoom. As far as, you know, hosting a Zoom meeting and the whole bit. And I'd helped her out with it. We helped her out with it a few days before. She got through it. I was surprised because at one point she froze and lost the connection, but she got back in and she was able to get all her pictures up and everything. So, I mean, now that she's been initiated, I'm sure that it'll get easier for her with each month when we do it, unless she forgets what she does, because we only have a class once every month. But anyways, I got this all together, but because you had to use these templates, you had some of them were the right way and some of them you had to do in reverse. And I was following that and going along my merry way. And then I realized, wait, some of these pieces are cut the wrong way. So I looked at the templates and everything. And no, it wasn't me. It was the instructions. They had screwed up. well, I got it to work with it all. And this is a really tricky block to do because there are a lot of points in this. And I'm very proud to say that my points are absolutely perfect. Would you not say so?
Yeah, they look pretty good. I'm looking for the mistake.
I know you are, but there aren't any. And in fact, I am so proud of this center part on here because in the instructions, they had an optional piece you could put on that, which was a circle. And you did needle turn applique, which
The circle in the center, right?
circle in the center. Yeah. And the reason they created that is because when you try to get all of these points, you've got 16 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, you've got 8 points going into the center that you lined up. And if you don't have them lined up, you are going to have a hole or a great big lump. Looks like a cancerous growth on it. So they kind of included that as an option, which meant basically you cover up your mistake. But I don't like the look of the circle in the center because it actually does, to me, it yells out, oh, you had a mistake there. That's why you appliqued a circle on. But my points came out perfect on that. But I was very, very careful and very exact with it. So I'm pleased with the way that it has turned out. So anyways, it'll be interesting to see how the other ladies in the class made out with that because, and I was saying about the mistake, right after I got this all done, I had just finished it. I hadn't been finished the block for 5 minutes. An email came through from Donna letting us know that there had been a mistake in the pattern, and it was the mistake that I had already discovered and kind of worked around with it. So I thought, oh yeah, that figures. Right after I get it done, then I see that come up. So,
Can you bring the comments back up?
oh, yeah, I guess. Well, I could. There you go. So, what's everybody saying? As Jenny Doan would say, if you can't see the mistake from a galloping horse, no big deal. Yep. Have you heard when your robotics for Lucy will arrive? Haven't had any word yet, but they did tell me it would be probably 8 weeks. And it's been now about 5 weeks. So 4 or 5 weeks.
Well, they said 6 to 8,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah.
I just hope I don't get a call that they want to deliver it when we're at the retreat.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they'll have to hang on to it for that. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, it does, Barb, because I did cut the circle out and I took a picture, or I let Walter look at it and I said, which do you prefer, with the circle or without? And you said you preferred it without the circle.
Yeah, I don't think I like it with the circle.
No, to me, the circle just sort of screams out,
Oops.
oops. Yeah, oops. Now, you see, I was a little worried about that, but I had done something before that had a lot more points that came into the center. It was a medallion, or a mandala, tablecloth that I took a class, back, 2 years ago, pre-COVID. And it was one hell of a thing. I'll never make another one of those. It turned out fine, but the center part gave a lot of people trouble. I actually was able to get all my points to match up on that one too, but it actually called for a centerpiece as well on it, and I did put it on because it actually did fit the design. It didn't look like it was supposed to be there. It wasn't covering up a mistake, but I didn't have any mistakes in that one either. But I did do a lot of ripping to get that to work. So yeah. So anyways, we move on. This is a 10-month project. That is, if I follow the schedule for the class. I actually have the whole pattern. Donna says, of course you found the pattern. Because she's only giving us the instructions 1 month at a time, right? Because it's a block of the month. And someone said, well, to Donna that day, do you have a picture of the finished quilt with a layout diagram? Like, because all the pieces are labeled. Like, there's a lot of pieces, or a lot of fabric, like A to Q. Okay, so what's that? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. 17 different fabrics go into this sucker. They're small pieces, but there's still 17 different fabrics that you're putting into it. And so she wanted to see an actual diagram of the finished quilt where they've labeled all the pieces. And Donna said, I don't think there is one. And I went, actually, Donna, there is. Because I found on a site the pattern in its entirety. Like, there's the company that puts this pattern out, puts it out as a block of a month. But you can also buy the pattern as a part of a kit, and it's the whole pattern for it. If you bought this kit, I think the kit was something like $400 US for it, but of course it had all the fabrics, right, and everything to it. But I did a little internet search, and I found a free copy PDF format of the what they call the kit version, and in the kit version they actually have a layout diagram. But I didn't want to really say that I would send that to people because I didn't know how Donna would feel about that. So I said, I do have it. But I said, Donna, and if you want, I can send it out to everybody. But if you, or I said I could just send the pages that have the diagram. And Donna says, we'll just send it to her and she'd send it out or whatever. So I sent it to her. So I don't know. I don't think she sent out any of the pages though to anybody. So. But she did tell the story that one of the classes I took was a mystery quilt, and I don't like mysteries, and I want to see what the whole quilt, when it's going to be finished, was going to look like. So I could pick my fabrics out accordingly. Because I think all they said was, yeah, you needed so much yardage in dark, so much yardage in medium, so much yardage in light. Well, no, I like to look at the prints and things like that I'm going to use in it.
Isn't that the point of having a mystery quilt?
Yeah, well, I don't like mysteries.
Well, then don't take the class.
I wanted to take the class because there were things in it that I wanted to learn in the class, but I did want the mystery. So I found the pattern for that one too. And then I could pick out my fabrics for it. So whatever. Yeah, that's right, Barb. Don't work ahead until you know there are no mistakes in the instructions. Yeah, I'm not going to work ahead with this one because I mean, if I paid my $50 for the class for one thing, and and I want to take the class, so
yeah. But you were the first one to finish block, right?
Yeah, probably. The other ones hadn't picked out fabrics yet. I'd already done that. I'd picked out my fabrics, but that's me. I'm like that. Give me something to do. It's done the next moment. Barb says, I don't like mystery quilts. I want to know what I'm getting into. Yeah, that's kind of the way I am too. Because I've done a couple of mystery quilts. One mystery quilt I did quite a while ago through my guild. I think that was last year did that. It was a virtual thing too. I wasn't really happy when I got it done with my fabric selections. There needed to be more contrast in certain spots, and that one I tried to find. That one I didn't have any luck. Hi, Marilyn. So anyways, that's what I've been up to. So we went and did some shopping yesterday at Ultimate Sewing because they were having a big sale. They were, what was it, 25% off?
No, it was 20% off if you emptied a bolt.
If you emptied a bolt, yeah. So we went in. Of course, Walter is very good at going through shelves and finding the ones that
are close to the end.
Close to the end, but and they're also colors that I want to use in that. So I got 19.5 meters of fabric yesterday, ends of the bolts. And it cost...
Actually, the bolts that I picked, a lot of them were only like a meter or a meter and a half. So
yeah. So I stocked up, and they're all fabrics that I'll use in things. They're good, they're good blenders and things like that. And so I got 19.5 meters. So if I'd paid full price, that would have cost me, no, that can't be right.
What?
$292, man. I got paid $300. Of course, I'm not taking tax in.
Yeah, but you had that.
Oh, I forgot I had that ruler. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, so it would have been $292, and then I paid for so okay. Well, basically, it's $292 less 25%, 20%.
Yeah,
20%. Okay. Whichever
But-
way you cut it, it was still not a bad deal.
Yeah, but yeah, and what was it? What was she charging per yard? Per
15.
meter?
She charged me 15. Actually, there were some of the fabrics in there that were slightly more than that. But Emily, when she's putting it through, she's, they're all 15.
Yeah, actually, they had. I don't know why she had her bolts marked at the end of the bolt of that fabric that I bought.
Yeah.
She had had it written on there as $17.99.
Yeah.
But unless it was may have been those fabrics that you got from the store that closed down.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah. Anyway, so as a store had closed down in our area, and she had purchased all their fabrics, so that could have been that stuff where she got it from. But anyway, they charged me 15 for it, I think, too, because it was over 5 meters that I got, and I paid $63.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you're interested in seeing the haul, I'm putting that up on the Idiot Quilter this week. T Wheels says, so is a meter of fabric the salvage to salvage width by a meter long?
No.
Yeah, no, meter wide. Salvage to salvage is usually anywhere between 42 to 44 inches. And then, so when you buy it on a bolt, when they put it on the bolt, it's doubled over, folded in half from salvage to salvage. And then, so when you say you want a meter, they just roll it off the bolt. So what you're getting is 1 meter of fabric is 1 meter wide or long.
Yeah, it's about
by about 42 to 44 inches.
Yeah,
wide.
like if you buy a yard, it's 36 inches wide, right? So a meter is actually about 39 inches. So
yeah,
it's 39 a little bit, but anyway.
Laura says, Walter, do you have any classes coming up?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't got any classes coming up yet. I don't know if they're still working on the coat that they were working on or what. I haven't talked to anybody yet as to when and what the next class or what project it'll be. So if it's a project I want, then I'll attend the class.
Yeah. Barb says, for $15 per meter is a great price to begin with. Yeah.
Well, actually, we usually get regular price. We pay $15 minus 10%. We usually get 10% off.
Because if you buy a sewing machine in the store, you get 10% off fabric, some notions, things like that, for the rest of your life, basically.
And then, but now with the under the bolt thing, it was an extra 10% off, so it was added extra.
Hi, Karen. Marilyn says, unless it's wide back. Yeah, wide back is
usually the ones that we get are 108 inches.
108 inches, and what's she charge a meter for that? About 24?
Yeah, I think
it's about $24 a meter in the wide back, which is still a good price, because having looked at online quilt stores every week for the Idiot Quilter, it seems now wherever you go, the average price per meter of fabric ranges from about $18 to $22 a meter, and lately it's even been more average, closer to 20. And wide back is anywhere from 28, 29 to 32 a meter in Canadian dollars. So yes, prices on fabric have gone up majorly.
I mean, the fabric that we buy here is pretty much the same fabric that you buy in the United States. Mm-hmm. The widths are all the same. It's just the how much length you're buying from the bolt, right? So,
like when it's priced at, that's why I always look at online quilt stores in Canada. Are they selling it by the yard or by the meter? And I have a problem with Canadian stores selling stuff by the yard, because it's only 3 inches, but if you buy 3 meters, that's 9 inches, more of fabric if it's by the meter. And if they're selling it by the yard, it doesn't mean that they're cutting down their price by the yard. It's still the same price. So, call me cheap.
Barb Olson says they're charging $26 to $28 in Calgary.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow. That's a lot. Holy crap.
Now, we do have a store here called
Quilter's Cupboard.
The F store.
Oh, you mean Fabric Land, yeah.
Fabric Land,
the F
which
store.
is a it's a chain, and they will charge that much, 26 to $29 a meter, and but their stuff is always overpriced,
And it's
so.
crap. It's crap. Their quilting cotton is crap. Because Aaron like an extra. Yeah, true. Size matters. But yeah, Shirley's prices are really good, and she has tried. No, her costs have gone up too, like everybody else's, and she's really trying to keep at least most of her fabrics at $15 a meter. Now, she does have some fabrics, like if you were to buy some Tula Pink or Tim Holtz
Or
K Facet, those ones might be as much as $17 a meter, which is still a good price. And batiks are a little bit more too. I think they're about 17. Jennifer says she just purchased batiks for quilt, and it was $19.99 a meter.
Yeah, I think it's either 16 or 17 that she charges for batiks.
So
but that's still a really great price compared to a lot of the other quilt stores in the area. And so she does get a lot of business for that, just for that.
That's what brings them in. Now, there are some things in her store that are, like we've noticed on the pre-cuts, especially fat quarter bundles, things like that. Those prices, her prices have gone up quite a bit on those.
But they're still pretty much.
But they're still average. Yeah, it's not like that's way out of the way.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, her fabrics are usually pretty good price. Sometimes, I mean, it's just like anything. You may go to her store and not really find what you're looking for, and then you end up going to another store and you sort of suck it up and pay the extra money. So
she has a pretty good selection of fabrics, although I find I'm hard pressed to find anything lately that's been screaming out at me. But that's me more than her, because I have everything.
Yeah, and there's certain color schemes that you don't really like.
Well, anything that's pale, a pastel-y color, something like that. I hate pastel-y colors. He did make me buy a pink yesterday. I do not usually buy pink.
It was a bright pink, though.
Yeah, it was a bright pink, but it was on sale, so I bought it. But yeah, it was a good haul. Laura says, yes, Fabricland is terrible. I bought material from them for curtains when I bought this house, and I regretted it. Terrible fabric to fade it so quickly, and expensive for type, poor quality. For type and poor quality. Yeah, it is. And our fabrics land stores out here, we have two in our vicinity, one in Oshawa, one in the town next door to us, which is Whitby. The Whitby store, attitude plus.
Yeah,
I thought it was just because I was a man.
The staff are just terrible in the store. They give you really bad attitude. They're rude.
They are literally rude.
They are rude. And I thought it was because we were guys going into the fabric store and they, you were giving me the cold shoulder type of thing. But I found out, no, they treat women just as bad because all the women complain about it.
That's why we call it the F store. Because F means the store, you know what I mean? And the one here in Oshawa, in our city, they're not too bad in there. But the quality of stuff, I'll never forget. I bought batting there at one point in time. They always have sales. And they have a customer loyalty card that you pay $20 for in a year, and it gets you special pricing on certain things on certain.
Well, actually, what it ends up happening, where you get special pricing on their notions and stuff, and basically what you're paying for is you're getting notions at the price that everybody else sells it for.
Yeah,
because their notions are overpriced.
They're like Michael's or Joann's with their coupons. This same idea, you're not really getting a deal at Joann's or at Michael's when you use the coupon. You are getting a deal because they have inflated their prices by the amount of that coupon. So,
yeah, the only problem is these stores they actually manage to exist because they sell apparel fabric. And there aren't very many places in our area that sells apparel fabric. So Like I end up buying a lot of stuff online, mainly because it's cheaper and the quality is a little better. And then I actually go. I have very rarely gone to Fabric Land to buy fabric because it's expensive. And they have an online store too. They call it Fabricville, and Fabricville is actually the same company.
But isn't it located in Quebec?
It's it's
Well, maybe
based,
the whole
so,
corporation.
yeah, the whole
in Quebec.
corporation's
Yeah.
based out of Quebec. So, but I have ordered stuff from them online, but but again, their prices are way overpriced online, and the only time it's worthwhile ordering from them is when they have a sale on, and sometimes it's not a bad price. So, but if you can't get it on sale, the only other thing I don't like about that Fabricville online is sometimes they don't really describe the weight of the fabric, which I like to know when I'm buying clothing fabric, because if you don't know, I mean, a cotton twill can come in various different weights, and and they, depending on how heavy the cotton twill is, it depends on what project you're doing. So
Yeah. So Barb says, would you believe in Calgary I cannot find layer cakes, charm packs, mini charms, only sometimes jelly rolls? Well, yeah, I would believe that, Barb, because you want to know something? The American stores online anyways have such a better selection of all those kind of things than any of the Canadian stores I've found online. It's the same old, and half the time they're sold out of them as well. Even when I go to Ultimate Sewing, she has lots of strip packs and charm packs and layer cakes and all of those and jelly rolls, but they're all boring. They're pretty much
like
their
I
standard.
ended up buying a bunch for him at Christmas time, but I ended up ordering them from the U.S. because not that the prices really went. By the time you worked it out between the Canadian prices and the American prices, it was about the same. But I had a better selection.
Yeah. Eddie
So-
says, on average, how much do you pay for a jelly roll?
It's about
About $60.
Yeah, it's 50. I think it starts about 55 and up. to
55. It
60.
depends too.
Yeah.
Because at least in Ultimate Sewing, her prices are all over the place on her jelly rolls. Like
But-
like $80 for a K Facet one, but $60 for
Well,
so
that was her online prices, and I think some of those are wrong because one problem with her online system is that sometimes they don't seem to double check to make sure the price is correct.
See, I love jelly rolls because I love doing quilts that are made from strips. And because it's just, it cuts down your cutting in many ways with that. So I'm always on the lookout for jelly rolls.
The prices for the jelly rolls in Canada are, if you do the exchange rate between the Canadian dollar and the American dollar, they're pretty close to the price that you would pay in American dollars on American sites. So there isn't any kind of savings to purchase jelly rolls from Canada.
So I just saw Marlene has mentioned a place in Red Deer called Urban Farmhouse. I'll have to check that one out, Marilyn, because I'm always on the lookout for that. Plus, I've got lots of Canadian stores. If you've been watching the Idiot Quilter for the last year and a half, every week I review a new store, and I review the store based on my first impression given their website. And sometimes I'm not nice. I don't get real nasty, but some of them,
The Cave Facet fabric, and I think the Tula Pink and Tim Holtz fabric, is wholesale prices I think are higher than if somebody buys Northcott or something like that.
Yeah, they are. Barb says she buys her fabrics from my sewing room in Calgary. I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one because Kim Jameson Hurst, who's the host of The Quilter's Way, talks about it a great deal. I don't know if I've ever checked it out online or not. I think I did review it once.
Look at it.
I think we did look at it. And it's fine. Barb doesn't do rude. No. And when she first started quilting, I ordered fat quarters on Amazon. Oh my, never again. Oh yeah, the fabric was so thin I could see right through them like onion skin paper. Well, they come from China. Don't order fabric from Amazon because unless you know that there, and actually most of the quilt stores we know, like the Fat Quarter Shop, Missouri Star Quilt, they don't sell their fabric on Amazon. They may sell some rulers and things like that on there, or some notions, but they don't sell their fabric on Amazon .com or .ca.
And there's some places that I've known. There's some places in the area, if you go into Toronto, that will sell really cheap cottons and things like that. And I know some people in my sewing group have went out and bought some of it because it was cheap. And then when they throw it in the washing machine, it all comes out in a ball.
Yeah, so there you go. Barb says, isn't K Facet fabric more expensive to begin with? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, there is a really great store if you're into K Facet as far as selection, or at least it was a really great store, and they're online. And I can't tell you the name of it.
Okay,
I
well,
can't pronounce it.
why just mention it?
Well, it's because I can't pronounce the name. It's in German.
Oh.
It's that one in St. Mary's.
Oh yeah.
Hegler. I don't speak Flam, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, they carry everything.
They've got everything K Facet in there. Now, what their prices are like, I can't tell you offline. Mulder's looking it up right now. Also, you know, the Ultimate Sewing has an online store as well. She doesn't have everything she has in the store on there, but yeah. See, I told you. So don't be pointing fingers at me, and you can speak Dutch. So
Hyglicht Fabrics. It's HYGGELIGT Fabrics. I don't know why HYGGELIGT. Hyglicht.
They need to change their name.
Well, that's a unique name, that's for sure.
I don't buy things I can't pronounce. It's like food. If I can't pronounce, I don't eat it. Angel says she bought Robert Kaufman fat quarters on Amazon. Luckily, had decent luck. Okay, but here, Angel, is what you did. You bought brand name Robert Kaufman. If it says Robert Kaufman, or if it said Northcott or any of the other ones out there, you'd be fine.
If you go to fabric.com, it is actually owned by Amazon. And and they sell some of the stuff right on Amazon as well. And the stuff fabric.com carries usually is good quality. I haven't run into any problem, but as long as you stick with
the names,
brand names, and stuff like that.
But you'll see like these bundles of fat quarters or charm packs or something that do not have a brand name on them, but there's this like sensational price, like 3,000 squares, 5-inch squares of fabric for $10.99. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I did buy that fat quarter bundle that I gave you at Christmas time from fabric.com. That was an 80-piece fat quarter bundle for $140 American. And that actually was a really decent price, but it was
Benetrex
fabric.
Well, that's a brand name.
Yeah, it's a brand name.
Is that the one in my box?
Yeah, your box set.
Yeah, I was looking today for patterns that are maybe worthy of that. Hi, Ann. I was just looking here. Barb says, my cheap fabric on Amazon was from China. When I complained about it, they told me not to send it back, but refund it me. Oh, okay. Well, cheap fabric, make a cheap quilt. Just don't wash it. And maybe not do a 1/4-inch seam allowance, maybe do 1 inch. Damn, but whatever. But yeah, so, you know, we're lucky we have Ultimate Sewing because the prices can't be beat.
And actually a lot of the quilt stores in the area have gone out of business for one reason or another. I think they weren't very good at doing business, so some of them went out.
Well,
and Ultimate seems to have.
The other thing that Ultimate Sewing has going for them is they stock a lot of notions. In fact, I was looking through rulers yesterday, and I came upon something called the Trimmer by George. It is by the Hoop Sisters. Now, this is used when you're doing like those things that you see behind me, those blocks and those wall hangings. It's a special ruler with a lip on it for trimming those, so that you trim, it's hard to explain, but you basically trim the batting without trimming the fabric, so you can join your pieces together properly. Anyways, it's a ruler that the Hoop Sisters developed. And I went to the Hoop Sisters site to check it out, and I checked out their video, and I kind of wanted one because I do, a fair number of those types of wall hangings. So I thought it'd be worth the investment. Well, I can't get it. I could not get it off from Amazon. It was always out of stock, and with the notice that said they didn't know when they were getting them in. You can't buy them directly from Hoop Sisters. Hoop Sisters is in the United States. They're famous for doing quilt-as-you-go quilts on your embroidery machine, and this is what this ruler is designed for. And I couldn't get it anywhere. Basically, it was all out of stock. Or if I could find it someplace in the States, the price between shipping and the exchange rate was astronomical. So I put it on hold. When we were over at Ultimate Sewing yesterday, I just went through some of their rulers and wait, that's a trimmer by George. She had a pile of them. And I'm looking at it, $39. And I went, well, I'm nailing that sucker. But see, the thing was, I did do a search just out of curiosity on her website, on her online store for that, and it didn't come up in the search. So I just figured, well, she doesn't have any, which didn't surprise me because although she does carry a few of the Hoop Sisters patterns and things, but anyways, I was really thrilled that I got that. But the other thing that makes people come back to that store, depending on who you talk to, is the customer service. I mean, all of the ladies that work in there are all really nice. They will jump through flaming hoops for their customers. I mean, I wouldn't. Someone come in and go, I bought this fabric 5 years ago. I've just run out. I need some more. And I go, color? It was yellow. Uh-huh. Yeah, I can't get that. Bye-bye. Because I know where that conversation's going. They don't have a clue what they're talking about. But these ladies are very, very patient.
And they're very patient with the customers.
And Shirley, the owner, is she's a Janome dealer. She knows everything there is to know about those machines. And Shirley is not a used car salesman.
And she can also troubleshoot
the
machines herself, like without being a technician. So.
Yeah. Well, she's taken the technician course.
Yeah. Somebody said how long she has been in business. As far as I know, that store's been in business about 20 years. But
Shirley's been in the business a lot
she's
longer,
been in
probably
business
double.
a long time ago, she owned some of the stores. She was had her hand in a couple other stores, and she was in joint ownership with other people. And then eventually it just became that she has this store on her own. So
Angel says, is it like the Add a Quarter ruler? No. This ruler has a lip on it. It fits underneath one layer, the top layer of your fabric you've embroidered on, and you pull it over on top, and that bends that piece over, and then you just zip your rotary cutter up along that, and that trims the batting off and the backing you may have on there as well, because this is sort of a quilt-as-you-go kind of a thing. And then it leaves the top over, so that's what you can now sew the next one to. Also, it has markings on it. If you flip the ruler over for cutting sashing, I just learned this today because I didn't know this had it on. It's got markings on it for cutting 2.5-inch binding and 1.5-inch sashing pieces. And it's very clearly marked. Whereas, now you say, well, yeah, but you can do that with any ruler. And yes, you can. But the beauty of this ruler is it's very clearly marked. It's really quick, really simple to use. And you'll get it right. Because there are times when you can, depending on the ruler you're using, you can, and I've done this. I thought I was cutting 2.5-inch. I cut 2 5/8 or something like that on it. So, So anyways, I wanted this ruler for a while. Now, I just saw here, I heard the trimmer, Patsy says, is being upgraded. Yes, I bought the 2.0 version, and now they have a 3.0 version that's about to come out, and I don't know what the difference is. I know the difference between the very first one they made and the one that I bought was the fact that it's before you couldn't see through it, and it didn't have any inch markings on it. It was simply this ruler with a lip on it, kind of a thing, a steel lip. Then the one I have has all these markings that I was just talking about, and you can see through it. It's clear acrylic. So I don't know what they're doing with the 3.0 version, what that one's going to be. But anyways, it's not something I'm going to use all the time, but I have it. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, like we said, check out Shirley's store. It's just ultimatesewing.com.
The Ultimate Sewing
Or is it
Center.
.ca? Oh, Ultimate Sewing Center. Is it .ca or is it .com?
Oh.
I don't remember.
There is another place that comes up as
Yeah.
Ultimate Sewing.
And it's not
and
her.
it's not her. So
She's in Ontario, Canada. Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Walter's just looking up the site right now just to see.
and no, we don't have stocks in it.
No, we don't. We should have, though. We pay their bloody salaries with the amount I spend there.
It's the Ultimate Sewing Center. And I can't see what's in. It's
It's .com.
Ultimate Sewing, all one word, .com.
Yeah, ultimatesewing.com. So check it out. And her shipping is very reasonable. And I think Jeannie, who's on here, Jeannie had ordered some fabric from her at one point in time, said it came pretty quick. So Jennifer says, when you attend your retreats, what machines do you both take? I'm looking to purchase a second machine for classes and travel. Well, Walter only has one sewing machine.
Well, last time we went to a retreat, we took our sewing machine and our embroidery machine, but
was overkill.
I don't think we're going to do that this year. I'll take my sewing machine, which is a Janome 6700, but it is heavy to carry.
And I'll take my travel machine, which is a Janome Skyline S7. I'm not taking my Continental M7 because you need two midgets to carry it into the place because it weighs a ton. But my Skyline is big enough to give you all the features you want and more, and still light enough to take off to a class or a retreat. And so those will be the only two machines that we'll take. I'm not taking the 550E, the embroidery machine, like Walter said. We did that one year, and I was doing some embroidering while sewing. Because I took my other travel machine I had at that time, which my sister now owns, because I gave it to her. But yeah, those are the machines that we're taking.
Fabric Spark, yeah, I think they carry a lot of different things. You have to be somewhat careful what you get from them.
That's what Eddie's asking about Fabric Spark.
Yeah.
Have you ordered from them before?
No, I've looked at them before. They have quilting. They have apparel fabric. I've never actually ordered anything from them. I have ordered from a place called Fabric, but you have to watch their stuff because they do carry quilting cotton, but it's not necessarily the best quality. They sell ends of lines of stuff, but I have bought apparel fabric from them, and I was very. They were good prices and they were decent quality. So
Patsy says, I've also tried to find the trimmer. I've not been able to find it. Well, Patsy, where are you located? Something in the back of my mind says you're Canadian, but I'm not sure about that. Forgive me because I forget things because I'm old.
Eddie, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, like just jump right all over me. All right, fine. Now I lost my train of thought. What you can do is, Patsy, you won't find the ultimate or the trimmer by George on Ultimate Sewing site because I did a search. She hasn't posted it there, but she had lots of them in stock, and they were $39 Canadian a piece. And if you send them an email, and you can do it through their website, I'm sure you could order one from them. You can ask them how much it's going to cost and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll check out Fabric Spark. See
what Tula Pink $5.95
Are you
Canadian a yard.
You sure that's not half a yard?
Yeah, no, Eddie. I don't believe you on that one. Sorry. No. That's probably a quarter of a yard.
Yeah, you got to watch these websites. Sometimes they sell in a half yard or a quarter of a yard. So
yeah, Eddie is a relatively new quilter, so he probably didn't realize this, but watch it, Eddie, because they will put up the lowest price, but at $5.95 I would pretty much believe that is a quarter of a yard. If you look when you go in and check it out or something, you should be able to tell that somewhere in there. But that's a little trick some of these sites put up. Oftentimes they put up their prices a half yard or half meter too. Are you checking that out?
I'm trying to.
Walter's looking into this, but if Tula Pink is $5.95 a Canadian yard, I'm going to their site. Because, I mean, I'm not in love with Tula Pink, but at that price, I'll buy it. Oh, Patsy's in the States. Well, they ship to the States, Patsy, but I would, if you want to get one, it wouldn't hurt to email them and ask them, what it was going to cost. And actually, I'm talking $39 Canadian. So American, that's like 2 cents for that. So Angel says, hell, I would pay the shipping to US for $5.95 per yard for Tula Pink. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean, Angel.
They have a jelly roll at $61.95, which is normal.
Yeah. Did you find the Tula Pink? There's Tula Pink. $7.95 it says here, but that may be converting it to quantity 1. No. Quantity.
Yeah, it's sold by half a yard.
Half yard. So they may have been having a sale, Eddie, on the one you were looking at, but it says here $7.95 a half yard for Tula Pink.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which means that's at that price. That means
it's not a bad price.
Still not a bad
price.
It's
a good price.
$16 a meter.
$16 a meter.
Or a yard.
Or a yard.
Yeah.
That's not a meter, so.
Yeah. But that's still not bad. But no, $5.95 a yard? Yeah.
They're a half yard.
They'll sell out real quick on that one. Barb checked it out too. Yeah. Half yard cut. Yeah. But anyways. Okay, so moving on. So I'm sure some of you have seen, or many of you have seen, the interview I did with Kate Jackson from the last Homely House on the day of the retreat. And I posted that interview, and I'm getting a lot of positive comments about that interview. Everybody loves Kate for sure. Well, what's not to love, really, with her? But I'm really glad that people were happy that I did post that interview with her, because, well, it was worth the effort, and she's a wonderful person. And Jeannie won her prize, a prize from Kate's store, so be really interested when Jeannie gets it. She can share it with us what she received when it comes. It may take a while though, because it's coming from the UK. So we've got March break happening here this next week. March break for the kids at school, right? Traditionally, in the days before COVID, people would all be out at the airport flying down to warmer climates and things like that. And so our Ontario government had decided that right after March break, they're lifting a ton of restrictions, including kids wearing masks in school and things like that. So you know how I feel about kids, their little disease bags. So they'll all come back from their lovely little vacation down south. They probably all are heading off to like Florida. Oh yeah, can we say disease state? Down there. And all come back, and we're all going to go into lockdown again. That's what's going to happen. Actually, no, we won't go into lockdown. I think it's every man and woman for themselves,
yeah.
According to our Ontario government. Because don't you know, but in the first
maybe
of June...
they're just the way they figure is that they've gotten as many people to get vaccinated as possible. And the people that don't want to get vaccinated won't, no matter what. So if you get sick, you get sick, and if you have to go to the hospital, you have to go to the hospital. Yeah, I guess that's the philosophy now. Well, okay. We've done everything we can with this disease, really, short of coming up with a cure, and that's not going to happen because it's a virus. So I guess we do have to live with it. Everybody has to. Wearing a mask is your choice. I intend to keep mine on for a little while longer than that. I do think it's foolish that they are, and they've told school boards. School boards are fighting this. They want the mask mandate in classrooms to stay for at least 2 weeks after March break, up to that.
because they see the writing on the wall. These people have gone out, they've had a vacation, you don't know. So the Ontario government said,
Bye,
no,
Angel.
they can't.
Enjoy your work day.
No, Angel's gone. Bye, Angel. So they're telling the school boards, no, you can't make that decision. You will go by our mandate. Our mandate is masks are not necessary in a classroom. If an individual child wishes to wear a mask, if an individual teacher wishes to wear a mask, they can do that. It's still their choice. But they are not going to turn around and let school boards mandate that everybody has to be masked for, whatever period of time school board thinks. Okay. You can tell we're getting into election mode because we are going to have an election in June for our provincial government.
In fact, he wants to move it up to May because whatever reason.
He probably figures that, if he moves it up sooner, the number of cases will still be lower that come back after March break. At that point, they'll be creeping up, but who knows? Anyways, I'm just tired of all this shit. It's everybody else's too. Steve, I'll send you a last homely house detail. I have 5 of them, like craft rooms at Kate Jackson Museum. Thanks, Eddie. With that. But Borb says Alberta government lifted mask restrictions for students about 1 month ago. For the rest of the population, no masks since March the 1st. Yeah. And T Wheel says my brother-in-law and his family live in Florida. He's not saying it's really bad down there. Yeah. He's not saying, but I guess we have to rip off the bandage at some point in time, but I still think.
Well, I'm still going to wear a mask.
I'm still going to wear a mask for now.
For a while, because if anything, I won't catch the flu as easily either.
Well, yeah, there are some advantages to all of that as well. But having said all that, Walter said,
and they won't be able to see me calling them effing idiots. Yeah. Yeah. I can mouth anything I want.
Well, I wonder if this is going to make the anti-vaxxers suddenly turn on people who have chosen to maintain a mask and turn the tables on them and go, you don't have to wear that. That's crazy. And I bring them on. Bring them on. Oh, yeah, I'm just waiting for that. So.
Well, I mean, people, you didn't see it very often, but there were people at times where you went out, especially Asian people, that would be wearing a mask out in public because they're used to doing that in places. You saw that more often in Asia, but they were doing it more for pollution than for diseases, I'm sure. But,
well, I was just going to say, T-Wheels, don't worry about it. I mean, we can find it out just by going on the internet. And it's not that important to our discussion, whatever. But thanks for offering, but don't bother him right now. Like, do you want to bother him? Anyway, so what were you saying?
No, I'm just saying that what somebody chooses to wear,
it's up to them.
Is up to them. And especially after this pandemic, if you choose to want to wear a mask for whatever reason, why should somebody rake you over the coals for it? What if I go to a store and I have a really bad cold, right? Like a regular common cold or whatever. I might want to wear a mask just so that it's not intrusive to other people.
Well, I mean, it was different with anti-vaxxers trying not to wear a mask in places because it was regulated. There were restrictions. It was posted. Now, as of the 21st, they lift those restrictions. And so, but the government is saying it's up to individual choice. So that's a little different. Before, it was restricted. So like I said, if some anti-vaxxer tries to get in my face because I'm wearing a mask, I'm going to tear their face off. Simple as that. Yeah. Rip you up. Carry a long stick with me. Bang them on the head. Whatever. A little rubber mallet between the eyes. That always works. But
just take out your gun and shoot them.
No. That if I was in the States, that would happen. But this is Canada. Well, I don't know. In Canada now, it happens a lot too. So, yeah, nothing's safe. So, anyways, speaking of feeling trapped or whatever. So Walter says the other day, we should go somewhere. Speaking of the summer, I was assuming you meant more into the summer.
Yeah.
And I said, well, yeah, well, I was sort of thinking that, but I was thinking, depending on how things are going in July, I would like to do what used to be my annual birthday trip to go quilt shopping in places that's about 2.5 hours to the west of us. It's quilt country up there and everything. But then you said, well, no, someplace else. And then
well, maybe we could go out Quebec area or something.
Well, I was thinking that too.
And see what's out there.
Yeah, well, we've been to Quebec before, but we could do
or
that.
Go to the eastern townships or whatever.
Yeah, that we had a bad experience the last time we went because we went with assholes.
We went with other people.
They were assholes. They were horrible. We went with a couple of other gay guys.
A couple of guys that we thought were friends.
Yeah, we weren't after that trip.
We weren't friends with them when we came back.
Well, they were a gay couple, live in our subdivision, actually. Live in our area. They only live about 2 blocks away from us. We haven't seen them since then. And that was quite a few years ago now. Yeah, quite a few. About 7 or maybe, God.
No, that was around 2006, 2007.
Holy shit, that long ago.
Anyways, we haven't spoken to them.
These 2 guys were slightly older than us, and one of them had been married at one point, got rid of his wife, had a family, and that had come out into the world. And I can tell you this: when guys come out gay at a later stage in their life, they go nuts. They go nuts.
Yeah,
they think they're like 20 years old.
Embarrassing.
He was woofing, literally woofing. Any guys that walk down the street past him, he's going woof woof like this, and like I didn't really want to be beaten up by this because it was pretty bad.
Embarrassing.
Very bad. And when I sort of brought that up to him, I tried to be nice and diplomatic about it. That didn't go over well. So, needless to say, we cut the little trip short. We all came in the same car. That was awkward. And not doing that again.
In fact, we didn't really hold any bad vibes against them. And I actually ran into one of them in one of the medical facilities here when I was getting some tests done. And I spoke to him and I said, hi, how are you doing? And stuff like that. He wouldn't talk to me.
No.
So I thought, okay, you really hold a grudge.
Yeah. Oh, they were a couple of assholes. In fact, we kind of knew they were borderline assholes before we went on this trip with them, but we should have gone with our instincts.
We kind of thought that, we'd have a good
Hi, Cindy.
time and stuff like that. And they would be adults. They were actually older than us.
Yeah,
so,
they weren't very adult. No.
They were...
They were like horny 20-year-olds. And no, not our cup of tea, so to speak, with that. So if Fidel says, invite me, I'd love to go shopping too. What are you shopping for, Fidel? We're talking fabric. But anyway, so... Yeah, so anyways, but of course you use the N word, Newfoundland.
Oh yeah, Newfoundland.
I'd like to go to Newfoundland, but
the only problem with going to Newfoundland is we either have to fly there, or if we want to drive, we have to take the ferry across, but it's an overnight trip.
Yeah, it's a long ferry ride. You got to book it way in advance too.
And the water is not supposed to be too calm.
Well, you are going across what is that? What do they call that body? It's the Atlantic Ocean, but there must be a name for it in there. I don't know what it is. T. Will says, yeah, when you suppress yourself for a long time, you go too far the other way. Afterwards, like kids in strict religious households going wild at college. Kind of irritating, though. Yep. Yeah, Fidel, I knew you meant quilting stuff. But, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, it would be nice to get out, but we can save it till the summer, see how things are going and everything like that. Haven't yet ventured into a restaurant. They're all open here now. No restrictions in the restaurants either. Well, except you have to wear your mask when you come in there, but when you're sitting at your table, obviously you don't, because how do you eat through a mask?
Well, until after the 21st.
Until the 21st, and then 21st, that all gets pulled off, and people have been going nuts for the restaurants. And guess what else is coming up next week? Like, before the restrictions are totally pulled off, but the restaurants are all open. St. Patty's Day, which is an excuse to drink green beer and throw up and pretend
Well,
you're
the pubs
Irish.
will be packed here.
I mean, oh, can't you see it? Those t-shirts. Kiss me, I'm Irish. No, no. Like, back away, far away. Like, really. But, anyways, what
We'll
can
see
you...
how it goes.
Yeah. So,
I'm still being cautious, maybe
Yep.
too cautious, but I like to be safer than sorry. So,
well, yeah. Well, we'll see when 2 weeks after March break, the end of March break, we'll see what the numbers are like again. Those little disease bags will all be everywhere. God, I'm so glad I'm a retired teacher now and don't have to deal with that. That's just paranoid city with all of that. So, one thing, speaking of young people, Barb, it might have been you, I'm not sure. Someone suggested that I check out this young guy on YouTube who has a YouTube channel, and he's a quilter. He's 14 years old. Oh my God. This kid is phenomenal in his free motion quilting on a long arm and the stuff he does. It's just, he makes feathers. Fidel, he's competition for you, I'm sorry to say. His website or YouTube channel is called Tucker's Sewing and Quilting. Check him out. He's amazing. He's a little strange, but he's amazing with the stuff he does. So do check that out. Hi, Cheryl. You're late.
Barb Olson says it.
Yeah, I thought it was you, Barb. Yeah, thanks. And actually, Barb, you suggested I maybe try an interview with him. I have sent him a message by way of his YouTube channel because he didn't have an email address anywhere that I could find. So I did send him a message about it and see. I haven't heard anything back, but I just sent that the other day. So we'll see.
Yeah, he is quite amazing.
Yeah, he's very amazing. Like, you have to check him out. If you're a quilter, you need to check out Tucker's Sewing and Quilting YouTube channel. So I've been having problems this week, like last week with Bell, my service provider, with my email. I told you all about it a week ago and everything. Still getting the same message. I've been through 7 different people at different levels. And I'm happy to say right now, knock wood, cross my fingers, don't say it too loud. Suddenly the problem disappeared. So I'm hoping it stays that way. But it wasn't because of anything that any technician told me to do or tried to help me with. I did actually write or put in an official complaint with the CRTC. The CRTC is the official body that supposedly regulates our telecommunication, television, radio, broadcasting stations. They're useless, but it made me feel better with that. But, fighting a company like Bell Canada, well, there is no fight. But anyways, right now, that's one problem that seems to be solved. As I said, don't have to talk too loudly about that. The other problem I'm having is with the bank getting my money. It's been now, I started the process November the 17th with the bank. I signed a piece of paper that I thought was supposed to be the last piece of paper I needed to sign to get everything transferred over so I can... give my brother and sister their share and get my share of the inheritance. And the woman I'm dealing with in the bank, very nice, very inefficient. Yeah, she's been checking with head office. She still hasn't gotten any information from that. We figure she forgot to send the last message to them. So I'm giving her until Wednesday of next week. And if I'm getting the same kind of answer, I'll check with head office, then I'm going to make an appointment with her boss, the bank manager. I'm going to go in and have a face-to-face with him, and I'm going to say, look, I'm not a happy camper. This has gone on way too long. You're holding me hostage here. It's my money, and I want my money. So we'll see what happens out of that. I don't get it. everybody you deal with
No
online or
customer
business,
service.
no customer service, nothing. They just give you nothing but a hard time about stuff. There shouldn't have been anything hard about this whole thing. It was pretty easy. My mother did not have a complicated. She had 2 bank accounts, a checking and a savings. That's it. Bang, boom. Nothing hard about any of that. So I don't know what they're doing. I mean, the probate was faster, and I expected
And that's going through the courts.
through the courts. I expected that to take longer than the bank, but they were lickety split. And given the fact that everything is supposedly backed up in the courts,
Yeah.
I don't know. I would think there'd be a lot of probate back up in the courts with the number of people dying of COVID. So, like really. Well, Cheryl is multitasking right now and adjusting daylight savings time. You are not multitasking, Cheryl. That is a myth. No one can multitask, women included. I know women say they can multitask. No, they cannot. And do not argue with me. I stand firm on this opinion. Yes. Karen says Tucker is 16 now. Lovely young man. I bet he said yesterday. Oh, is he 16 now? Because the video that I saw, well, that video was probably, maybe it was 2 years old, but so he said Tucker. Well, whatever.
Still young.
Yeah, he's still young. I mean, really, wow, what he can do. Yeah, bank doesn't want to give up the money. Of course, Barb. They're like insurance companies. They want to take your money. They don't want to give it back. Yeah. Oh, you can't do that, Barb. You just can't walk into the branch. Well, with COVID, they have a security guard. He stops you at the door. Why are you here? And then they have someone sitting behind a desk that usually has a sign on that says, please go see a teller, because that person is never there. They're on the world's longest break. They're supposed to redirect you to the person you need to talk to. And if you want to go in and speak to somebody that's not behind a teller's table, you need to make an appointment. And how do you make an appointment, you would say? You cannot call the bank branch direct. You have to go through a 1-800 number, which they will make the appointment for you. And they ask you 1,001 questions, and you get the whole thing about, first of all, you go through a menu system, and we all know what those are like, and then you're put on hold because we're experiencing a more than average volume of calls right now. Your call's important to us. Please stay on the line. Your call will be answered in the priority in which it was received. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the one person that you're dealing with, I think, is not very efficient at answering her emails and things like that. And you should complain about her.
Yes, I may come.
Anyway, so anyhow, Andy says no such thing as multitasking. It's actually rapid adaptation.
Oh, is that the term these days? Don't you love language? They're always coming up with a new term for something. Barb says that's crap. No, like the good old days. Yeah, I know. They talk too about giving you personal service, that they care about you in their commercials and everything like that. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, like I did something. This was a couple of years ago. I logged on I do online banking, and I opened a new account, and they screwed it up online, and it took me like a month to get it corrected. But they don't care. They just want your money. Cheryl says, yes, I am working on a database of retirees from the school district I worked at. YouTube's helped me get through this task. Looking up retirees prior to 2000, finding many have passed away. Yeah, you're not multitasking. Sorry, I'm sticking to my opinion. Marlene says, oh my God, that was my house buying bank experience. I had to travel 60 miles to send money to the title company. Oh yeah. Yeah, no service. Well, actually, Barb, I have been very low key with it. She keeps thanking me for my patience. Yeah, which I've got 2 voodoo dolls of her effigy in those, and I'm sticking like really large pins into her head and other parts of her anatomy. So yeah, but that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to complain because right now the power is in her hands, not in mine. But
I am going to do something. I mean, depending on what happens on when I hear from her on Wednesday, I do. Cheryl says, okay, rapid adoption works for her. Okay, fine. Marlene says, Steve, I use that line. Your call is important to us on scammers. They hang up. I just say fuck off and die. But maybe that's the nicer way. But I don't think I need to be nice to scammers.
I'm not even that nice. They get halfway through their spiel and I do hang up.
Yeah. Okay, watching you has helped me get through the hours that it's taken me. Poor Cheryl. You're working your fingers to the bone, and you know what you get when you work your fingers to the bone, don't you? Bony fingers. Said he say, make a pin cushion out of her with your 3D printer. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Sounds like dealing with federal or state government in the States. Well, we had the same problem dealing with the government here. In fact, earlier this week...
Actually, if you were dealing with the Ontario government, you get better service than what you're getting at the...
Well, I had to deal with the federal government on Monday this past week because Walter's been doing my mother's final income tax, right? And we realized that the slip for her old age security pension, we hadn't got that for it. So he needed that to complete her income tax. So I can't go on to their website and get it, even though I'd set up her account there before, back when she was in the nursing home and everything, because she's dead. So that account is closed. So that's where you could go to get like a paper copy. So I called their number. First thing I get when I called their number after I went through the menu system was, the average wait time for your call is 40 minutes. So I put it on speakerphone on my cell phone and just went about doing whatever I was doing. About 45 minutes later, I got a lady on the phone. Actually, she was very nice and knew what she was doing. And I said to her, okay, I figured I was going to get a hard time because I'm not my mother, right? And even though the government should know she's dead because all those forms went into the government some time ago and everything about that, I figured I'd get a hard time about this. But I didn't. She was very good. She did some verification with me, which I expected, like my mother's social insurance number and, the date of her birth and that kind of stuff and who I was and my address and all that kind of stuff. Well, fine, dandy. And she says, yep, we can send you out a copy of that. It'll take 5 to 10 days to arrive in the mail. No problem. And I said, okay. And I said to her, just out of curiosity, is there any way you can just send it to me by email? She says, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that. It has to go through the mail. I said, okay. She says, but I can give you the amounts that you need for your income tax if you're doing that. I went, okay. Didn't think to ask that, but great. So she did. She gave me the amounts and everything so I could give those to Walter. We're still waiting for the official form. But anyways, I thought, well, that's okay. But I was on the phone between dealing with her and the wait time over an hour, 70 minutes, I think it came out to. But yeah, that's how our government works really fast. At least this woman didn't give me a runaround and knew how to do it and was efficient when she did it. So that made me happy. Small blessings, I guess. All that kind of stuff. Yep, this is a volunteer job. I don't volunteer so quickly anymore. Oh, yeah. That's a whole conversation for another day. I did a lot of different volunteer things when I first retired. You kind of feel you should, give back to the community. You're retired now. You have the time, do that kind of stuff. And they just abuse the crap out of you. So, yeah, I don't volunteer anymore. But that's a discussion for another day because we have come to the end of our time, I think. So, yeah, we're going to say bye-bye. So I hope everybody has a good week. Thanks for joining us. And
thanks for coming.
Yep. And we'll see you next week and check out what I'll
what
post
happens
next
this
week. Yes, because it's always something interesting going on. Okay, so everybody have a good one. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.